Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Absolute Game of Nerds. As you'll notice, JP, the other co-host with me, is not here. He's on the road with work, and he texted me a few minutes ago that he checked into his hotel, and it is quite the Roach Motel is what he put in his direct text. There are some stains, and so he's on a mission to find a new hotel, and hopefully he'll join us a little later. But with us tonight, we got another great guest. We have Michael Salter, aka Cool Card Life, joining us. Michael, how you doing? Say hello.
Awesome, buddy. I liked your intro, man. That was good.
Thank you. Yeah, JB made that intro part, but yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. So as always, we always kind of get started with kind of the basic. What is your basic or your origin story? So not necessarily when you got back into the hobby, if you got out of it, but like when it all started. Was as a kid? Tell us give us the whole thing.
Yeah, it kind of in a weird way started with Bo Jackson.
Okay.
If I really go back, as I was 5 or 6 years old, my uncle was obsessed with Bo Jackson, and then so that got me into cards. And then I watched a movie or a cartoon or something, and they got me into Wolverine comic books, and just got obsessed with like the #1 Wolverine, and just started reading those comics, and that was really cool. And then I was at a store, Walmart or somewhere, and they had 92 masterpieces, or maybe it was at a hobby shop, man. And those 92 masterpieces blew my mind, and I was just collecting Bo Jackson before that, but when I saw those Marvel cards, man, that's what did it.
Wait, how old were we with that?
Man, I was probably third when I first saw the 92s.
No, yeah.
Yeah, the 92 masterpieces, 12 or 13, about the year of their release.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I want to ask real quick because are you still a Bo Jackson fan?
I am. That's the only. Yeah.
Did you watch the 30 for 30 on ESPN with Bo Jackson?
3 times.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome
It's cool.
episode.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. I always wonder. I would love to see that if they don't have any, but they always talk about that story of him doing an actual backflip in the swimming pool. Like that would be something to see.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
All right. So you said who was it that gave you the Wolverine comic books again?
I don't know who gave them to me. I just remember buying them maybe at a comic book store. But I got inspired to get those Wolverine comics because I saw a cartoon or a movie or something, animated with Wolverine. Maybe I don't remember what it was, but something got me into Wolverine, and then I went to the comics in a comic book store.
Got it. Okay.
And that transferred to the cards.
What do you still have those comics by any chance?
I have a few of them.
You have a few of them?
Yeah, probably.
Was it the ongoing Wolverine run then?
That's it. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. I always love to hear when people, whatever comic started it, and they still like, because I don't have any of the comics from my childhood, which is a little upsetting, but like JP still has a ton of his. And so I always love hearing people that still have theirs. So tell me, what was it about Wolverine? So just so everyone's aware, Michael is a big time card guy, and his main guy is Wolverine, kind of similar to Josh, who Michael is good friends with, Marvel Madness. Tell me, what is it about Wolverine that drew you to him? That what is he? Why is he your character?
I just relate to him, and he reminds me a lot of Clint Eastwood in a way. That tough Western, I don't give a shit attitude. Like, he heals quickly, and we go through things in life, and it's just a good reminder. And I relate a lot to that, to heal quickly, get over things quickly, try not to dwell on them. His whole persona, his whole attitude of everything about him, man. Just he's a badass. He's super tough. He's a man's man. He's also a really good dude. I mean, he protects good people, but he's got a dark side to him. So I always think that sums it up. Yeah.
I always, and I shared when I joined that episode with you and Josh on Josh's show.
Yeah.
The coolest thing I think about Wolverine is that kind of attitude of like he's not afraid of anything, and there's no better demonstration of that than the original Infinity Gauntlet comic book series. There's that comic panel where you have Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and everyone else there has cosmic powers and are fighting him. And there's that panel of Wolverine leaping at him with his claws going, and it's like, bro, like you're gonna get tossed by Thanos with just one blast, yet there's no consequence. It's just like, I could beat this guy. Like, I love that.
Yeah. And maybe and part of it, we've seen this in movies and comics a little bit. It alludes to sometimes Wolverine is okay with like, okay, I die, so what? I've lived however old I am, I've lived a long ass time. I'm not really ready to live another 100 years, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So there's that aspect sometimes too. You know?
That's actually a good point. I never even thought about that. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so the comic books was the spark, but then the 92 masterpieces. So was it cards from there on forward, or did you dabble back or go back and forth, or how did that go?
Yeah, man. Well, like, so I was really, really, really into Bo Jackson cards. Like that was my, whole world, right? As a kid growing up. And so when I saw the comics, it's like, oh, these are really cool. I like the comics, got into Wolverine and all that. So the masterpieces brought it all together with obviously the art, Juiceco art, but it really brought together the obsession with cards and my favorite character, Wolverine. And I'm like, okay, hang on. I can collect cards of Marvel characters. I didn't even know this existed. I was like, this is more fun than sports, So after that, I did a little bit more comics, but the cards just grew and grew and grew. And then when I was in early 2000s and I realized you could grade these comic cards and they had a serial number, you could put them in a registry and organize them. And that opened up a whole nother world. So now it's graded Marvel cards is the obsession.
Okay. So, yeah. And we're going to dig into that grading. And also just everywhere, Michael, and we'll also get more into, but at the front, Michael is into specifically he collects BGS graded cards, which is Beckett. So of the 92 masterpieces set, do you have a full Gem Mint set of that 92 set?
I'm at around 70% Gem Mint. So no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you collect, on that note, like the buybacks from the 2016 masterpieces set?
Not yet. I would get them, I just haven't focused on that yet, but that's something somewhere down the road. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So after 92 masterpieces, did you keep with it? Was there a break?
Kept with it. So I was 12 when masterpieces came out. So I stayed with it till about college and then got out of it for a few years and then got married and had a kid and said, wait a second, I still got some cards. I got some comics. This is really cool. I'm not in college. I'm married. I have a child. Let me get back into the hobby. So I was out of it 4 or 5 years. Besides that, been in it since early 90s through today.
Okay. And then it was obviously what year would that? I want to correlate, when did BGS start grading comic book cards?
They started grading in mid 90s, but I didn't realize card grading was a thing really until early 2000s.
Okay. So that's when you got back in then after college.
Yep. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. And what is it about the grading that draw? What's the draw there? I know some people are for it, some people don't care.
Yeah.
What is your particular love for it?
There's a lot of things. So the similar feelings we get when we have a serial numbered card or we have an autographed card, or we have a card that not many people have. Like a lot of collectors can really relate to that, right? Like feeling that, oh, this is so cool. There's only 20 in the world or 100 in the world or one of one, right? So grading to me gives personally me a similar type of emotion, similar type of achievement, I guess you could say. This is the only Gem Mint in the world of any grading company, or there's only 2 PSA 10s and 3 Beckett, 9.5s or whatever. So it makes it a little more fun and exclusive, even with just a cheap base card, right? Like this is worth what, 50 cents, but Gem Mint 40. I don't know. It just changes it. And the value makes it interesting. The cataloging and organization of it. You have a serial number, you put the serial number in the registry, and then you can look at all the cards in the registry and you can actually click the option that says show every single card in our database, and it shows those cards, but then it has yours highlighted that you actually own. So it kind of helps you get a little motivated to, okay, if your goal is to collect the most of that character, now you can visually see a list of every single card in their database with that particular character. And it just makes it more fun that way.
So then I got to ask, with the organizational side of this, does that apply elsewhere in life? Are you kind of a guy that always has got everything organized, everything's in order?
This is so crazy, man. I'm organized with my job, with what I do, and my house is organized and the cards are organized. But in terms of dealing with numbers and details and organization, I am not the analytical engineer brain type. It actually drives me kind of crazy. I don't like it, But for some reason, this is just so fun to me. I guess it's an exception. So
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And for anyone out there that's watching, I will encourage you. Michael has a episode on Spidey hits, and I'll try and find it and link it in the description, where Justin goes to Michael's house and tours it. And there are graded cards, everywhere. In the kitchen drawers, instead of forks and knives, there are graded cards. In the linen closet, there are cards. It was awesome to watch. It made me laugh. I loved it. It was really, really cool.
That was fun, man. I got that on my YouTube channel now and his.
Oh, okay, I'll look it up there. Yeah,
that's fine either way. And that was so organic and random. Justin and I had only talked on the phone a few times before he came over, and that was the first time like we met. And it was just, I didn't know that was going to happen. He did say he was going to ask if he could take videos and pictures, but the way it just all happened was just new to me, and it was just fun. It was like hanging out. Let's just
it's really cool with this hobby. Like, I mean, we talk about this live, so like JP and I, who have a podcast, and we've never met in person. We met via this community, and it's just crazy how it's like Justin shows up, but like it's not like you need any background. Like, he's in the hobby, you're in the hobby, you guys have bonded over that, and then now he's like wandering through your own house. Like, it's great.
Yeah, it's like it's like I got in, man. I got in. You know,
like, exactly.
Man, you collect cards, I collect cards. Okay, we're in the club. You know,
got it. So, you're a big Wolverine fan. Yep. Are you? It's just, we're talking cards, as we've talked before. What kind of collector are you? A character collector, set collector, both? What are you?
I've got a top 10 obsessed character list that I focus on, Wolverine being number one.
Okay.
And the sets are, I'm trying to complete as many possible 90 sets as I can in gem mint condition. That's really the focus. And then with rare exception with newer sets, I've got a few newer sets. So I guess both, to answer your question.
Okay. So let me ask then on those 90 sets. So I think I shared this with you when I was with Josh and him on his channel, that I got back into the hobby it's been about a year and a half, and it started back with comics, and I didn't really get back into cards until about 5 months ago. And when I came back onto the card side, I literally had no idea they were making cards still. I thought it was thinking in the 90s, and then it kind of ended. Like, I didn't know there were cards before the 90s, and I didn't know there were cards in the 2000s. Like, I just remember as a kid, I collected those Impel Series 1, 2, and 3, and those Marvel Masterpieces and some Skybox sets. And I thought that was it. I thought it kind of just died off.
Yep.
So what I want to ask, though, with that in mind is, when you say as many 90s sets, do we have a ballpark idea of how many 90s sets there are for Marvel?
I would say there's less than 10, in my opinion, that are significant. Okay. There's not that many. I don't think there's not that many. Okay. Yeah. That's a great question. Not like today.
Is 92 masterpieces? You said you're 70% there. Is that the furthest you're along in any of the sets, or any of the sets complete, or where are you at?
No, I've got a lot of 100% completed sets. A lot of they're mainly insert sets, okay. And I've opened up 2 boxes on YouTube of 96 masterpieces.
Yep.
You know, I'm trying to complete that, and so I think I'm about halfway there. So I've got a lot of sets that are 50 to 80% complete, and I've got a handful that are 100% complete.
Awesome. Yeah. So 96 masterpieces. I was kind of done with the cards and comics in general. I was kind of transitioned over to, I kind of went the opposite way. I was comics and Marvel cards, and then went into sports. So by 96, I was more into the sports cards. So I never experienced 96 masterpieces, but now as a collector, again, 96 from an aesthetic standpoint, in my opinion, is the best set of all time. Like, it's
hard to beat, man.
Yeah, it's hard so to beat. Good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and my character, as I've shared with you, is Silver Surfer, and that Silver Surfer double impact card. Oh, mama, that thing is special. Even the base card Surfer is awesome.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
So that set is incredible. Okay, so how does that, when you are chasing these 90 sets now, where are you sourcing these cards? Like, how do you want them in gem mint? So are you buying them pre-graded? Are you grading them? Are you buying them raw, then grading them? Like, what is your process?
All of the above. So I'll buy sealed boxes, and I've bought thousands and thousands of sealed boxes just for my own personal collection. But lately I've decided to open these boxes on YouTube to see how many, so everybody can see approximately how many gem mints come from each box. So to answer your question, I'm sourcing this from sealed boxes, from other graded companies, gem mints. Sometimes I'll look at theirs, and if I think they'll meet the Beckett one, I'll crack them and send a Beckett. Packs, Target sometimes, trading with collectors, Instagram, Facebook, any sources that I can get my hands on. One time I Googled, this is really cool, man. I had a a 6-case incentive Jim Kyle sketch, 3 sketch card Wolverine, all graded BGS pristine 10, 3 cards pristine 10, all original sketches. I think it was from 2011 Marvel Universe. I had those graded and sold them 7-8 years ago. I Googled that, the name, like the year and the artist and everything. Somebody had it on a random website for like $100 or something. It was cheap. And I was like, oh my God, it was like hitting the jackpot. Like, so there are those rare instances. If you're after a certain card, they're not on eBay, they're not on any social media site, nobody has it. If you just Google the card, sometimes people have those posted.
So you bought it for $100. Let's just say, what would be a realistic offer that could sell for today then?
2,000 to 4,000, because they're gorgeous sketches. They're all pristine 10, and it's a 3-stage set. It's like the pencil, the black, and the color. All exactly.
So one card is pencil, one card is ink, and then that's really cool.
Dude, it was amazing. Yeah. They all got pristine 10. So man, I don't know that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to have you send me a photo of this.
I'd love to.
After we get off. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So I want to get into the BGS stuff here in just a sec, but real quick, I want to ask if someone like me was like, oh, you know what, it would be so fun to open a X set from the 90s, just any set from the 90s, and it's sealed. Where does one go to buy a sealed box of cards from the 90s? Like, what's your best advice for how to get that?
In bigger cities, make some phone calls to some local comic book and card shops.
Okay.
And in bigger cities, sometimes flea markets, but I'm not in a huge city. So I mainly get that from eBay or social media, like the Facebook Marvel groups, or just messaging people on Instagram that collect. But I would say for me personally, eBay is the top site to answer your question. Yeah.
Do you have, so we've heard of, cards that brick. So these cards that have been around for 30 years, sitting in a box, they essentially solidify into bricks, potentially, depending on the composition of the card.
Right.
Is that just kind of a risk you take, or do you have to research to know that they were kept in good conditions, or what about that?
Well, personally, I've opened so much product for so long. I know which one's brick, and I know about what percent of the box is brick. If you were to buy 10 boxes, let's say half of them brick. So I know what year's brick. But I started to message eBay sellers first, asking, has this been climate controlled since the 90s? If I'm about to buy a product that might brick. And I think that helps a lot. And I know people might not be honest, but it's worth a shot, and you can ask, and it is a risk if it's a particular year that it'll brick. But then there's a lot of years of the 90s that never brick, or only brick 5 to 10% of the time. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I want to go back to the BGS stuff. So you explained how you really got into grading. With cards, we have a handful of graders. There's BGS, there's PSA, there's SGC, now CGC.
Yeah.
What is it about Beckett? How did you get to Beckett? Kind of talk me through that.
Well, I don't want to talk about Beckett and knock PSA, because I like PSA. I really do. They're fine. They're great. If people collect PSA, I get it. I don't want this to come off as I hate PSA or knock on PSA, because I buy and sell PSA all the time. They're a part of the hobby. They're whatever. They're great. So don't take it that way. Okay. Anybody listening? So, man, I really looked at everything, and I saw too many cards in other cases that were literally damaged so bad from movement and shipping that the label on the card, the grade, was no longer the grade of the actual card. I saw that happen too often. So I love Beckett's inner sleeve to prevent that from ever happening. I do. And then from other grading companies, you get your 8s or 9s back, and you could have sworn they were a 10. You're looking at them in the 8 and 9 case. You still swear they're a 10. And you're like, how the heck did they arrive at this? Like, it's a mystery. I don't like that personally. It drives me crazy. So with Beckett, and Beckett's not perfect. They've made mistakes too, and you can challenge the grade, but most of the time their subgrades really let you know what's really going on and how they got to it. I like the aspect of Beckett that you can get a pristine 10, not just because of the condition, but also sometimes because of the value, if you're looking to make some money. And then of course the black label is just awesome. I just think that's really cool. So you have 2 other levels of grading that you don't really see in other grading companies. And I was actually, Beckett and I have a good relationship for a long time. They featured me in their magazine for a Jordan collection I had. It was really cool. And I helped them build their database for cards that they didn't have in their database. So we had a good relationship. So just kind of everything put together.
Okay. Did that relationship develop because you were grading so many cards, or how did that relationship develop?
It developed because I asked them to add so many cards to their database that no one had. No one had on any websites that were so rare, foreign issues, promos, because nobody had a really good extensive database, to my knowledge, of Marvel cards that might be promos, or even the Wizard magazine cards. Like, there's so many that weren't in databases across the web, and they wouldn't grade a Marvel card unless it was in their database. And so I was highly motivated to get them to add those cards selfishly, because I just wanted to have it graded, right? Because I wanted to have all these sets graded by Beckett, and they wouldn't grade it unless they put it in the database first. So that was really the main motivation, is like, guys, please add this card. Here's the front and back. It's official. And they would do their research. And then most of the time they add it. Sometimes they'd say, like, when they don't add something, those 92 early 90s vending machine stickers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they said that they wouldn't add the ones without the year and copyright on them. So that was kind of interesting. So they would only, so sometimes they don't add them,
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. So I also want to backtrack a little bit just so people are aware. So when Michael talks about subgrades, so with cards, unlike with comics, there's a lot of factors because the comic has pages and all these things going on with it. A card is obviously very simple. You can see the front, you can see the back, and you see it all within the case. Cards are graded on 4 things. We got corners, edges, surface, and centering, right? So when Michael talks about subgrades, on a BGS card slab, you'll have the main overall grade, and then they'll have the composition 4 grades of each of those 4 items that make that then accumulate to the grade. So you know why your card's a 9, why your card's an 8. Whereas with PSA, you don't get those subgrades, you don't get grader notes, so you never know. Like, your card comes back a 9, comes back an 8, you have to just be like, okay, it's an 8, it's a 9, whatever it is. So I do feel that, because I did one grading submission with PSA. I'm like, how is this? Like, I
felt it too, yeah.
And it's just like, it's not that I wanted to disbelieve their grade. It's more I wanted to know for my knowledge purpose, so that way when I do another grading submission, I know what I want. If there's a card I want a gem mint 10 or something,
it teaches you.
Yeah, exactly. I want to know, so I'm not wasting money. Oh, this is it. So I'll give you an example. Like, so one of my goals with cards, I grew up on the 90, 91, 92 Impel Marvel sets, right? The Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer is my character. So I wanted to get every Silver Surfer from those sets. So whether it be his card, a battle card, or a card that he's on, there's only like 4 or 5 per set. And at first I started out where I was like in just a 10, whatever grading company. It turns out there's a lot of them in PSA 10. They're not expensive, so those are the ones I bought. So it just happens to be that I have all PSA 10.
Nice.
There is one card from 1990 Marvel Universe. It is the Silver Surfer versus Thanos card. Now, when you look at a pop report on PSA for that set, I mean, there are cards that have 400 pop PSA 10, right? It's the most graded set. The lowest gem rate for a card in that set happens to be the Silver Surfer versus Thanos.
I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah. So I think when I first started this, I think the population was 18, and I think now it's like 22, 23.
Yeah.
So when it was at 18, that card, when you saw it on eBay, went for about $3,000.
Yeah.
And now you'll see it. I think I saw a buy it now is like $1,500, and I think an auction went somewhere in the $800 range. Now that it's at like 20, still more than I need to pay for a PSA 10 of that card personally.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I'm going to buy a few raws and I'm going to try and grade one out. And so I picked 3, and I thought they were like, okay, these are solid candidates. They may not get 10, but they may get close. I got to see. And it turned out I got 2 7s and an 8. I was like, man, I was way off. But I just wanted to know, like, why. And I'm pretty sure it was centering, but like, I would just want to know why, so that when I try this again, I have a better shot.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. I learned a lot from the subgrades, learning what they look at, because I didn't start out knowing how to pre-grade cards at all,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, again, going back to the house video, there are cards ever graded cards of that everywhere. Do you have a ballpark idea about how many graded cards are currently in your house right now?
Over 6,000.
Over 6,000.
Yeah. There might be 7,000. I'm just going to say 6 to be safe. 6 to 7,000. Yeah.
So we talked to Louis Alonso Collectibles, and he was kind of our first kind of big card person that was into the grading side of it as much as you, I'd say.
Yeah.
He was telling us how he basically has kind of like essentially like a conveyor. You can say he does PSA.
Yeah.
So it's like he's always got a shipment going out every couple of weeks. He's always got a shipment coming in every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Is that kind of similar with you with 6,000 cards? Is there cards always going out and cards always coming in?
Always, man. Always.
What in a typical submission for you, what size are we talking about? Are we talking about 50 cards, 200 cards? Like, I don't even know.
150 to 200, probably. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. But not every 2 weeks. It takes up time. And I just hired somebody for the company on staff for Cool Cards, and that's going to help me. But I would probably send more if I had more time. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, so now you hired. So cards is not your full. You're into real estate, I believe, right?
Full-time real estate agent. Yes.
Okay. So let's just say you work 40 hours a week doing the real estate thing. How many hours a week are on the card side of the business?
20.
20.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And what is the person you hired? What is he putting him on eBay? Is he grading? What is his role?
Sorry. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah. She's going to package up the cards that sell, put the labels on them, get them out to the post office. She's going to organize all the sets for me that I don't want because of the condition isn't Gem Mint, and we're going to sell those. She's going to scan every graded card either for my PC or put it on eBay. She's going to help me get organized, more organized, and she's going to I'm going to teach her how to pre-grade cards.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many? So you have 6,000 in your house. How many cards do you have on eBay, would you say?
2,700 or more.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you do also have a website, coolcards.com, correct?
Coolcards.net.
.net.
And that's one thing she's going to do is update that site more, because I want that site to be really up to date and have my goal with that site, man, is to have the largest collection of graded Marvel cards in the world on one site. I don't know if I'll get there, but that's the plan. I'm going to try.
How will you gauge that?
Just looking at other sites that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah. Like eBay and Dave's Card World, all the sites that we use now, you know.
Oh, okay. So you're even talking about bigger than like big retailers and things like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Ambitious. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
We'll see. That's the goal.
Yeah. Do you currently sell more cards on your site or through eBay, would you say currently?
eBay, the site. Yeah. The site, like, the site's great and all, but now that I have an employee, we can really grow the site and make it better. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So eBay for sure for now.
Yeah. We'll put the link for your site in the description as well, so people, if they want to check out.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
I do want to kind of take it back a little bit to the collecting side for your personal kind of collecting side.
Yeah.
On the Wolverine character collecting side of things, we've had character collectors like Fausto that are collecting every card that even has the word Silver Surfer on it, right?
Yeah.
And then we've had like Joshua from Marvel Madness. He's like, I want to collect a lot of Wolverine cards and good Wolverine cards, but I want to buy the ones that I like. I don't really need to have every single one. Where do you fall in line here?
I fall in line where I just want to collect every single card ever made since the beginning of time through today that has Wolverine on it. That is the goal, and that is what I'll work towards forever. Won't ever achieve it because there'll be collectors that have one of ones they'll never let go of, which is fine. I sold one a few years ago, Wolverine 1 of 1. Now I'm like, God, should I have sold it? So
yeah.
But no, just to have as many possible Wolverines as I can get my hands on, and graded. So
okay. Yeah. So when you pursue that goal, you've talked about how you're an organizational guy with the grading and things like that. Do you have a database of Wolverine cards that you're checking off? Or are you just kind of like always search and you see them, you grab them? How's that work?
Yeah, no, I don't have a database I'm checking off. I just know in my head which ones that I want the most. And so kind of like, was it Alonso, as you said? Yeah. He's got the conveyor belt. He's got his system down. Like, I'll find these Wolverine cards through all these different methods and then put them in a section in my kitchen right now where they're in the kitchen drawer.
Is it the knives section?
No, it's under the coffee. It was just a plate drawer that I took the plates out and replaced it with, they were the next cards that need to go out to get graded, right? The next in line, all the priority cards. That's that drawer, right? And then I've got another section of the house where they've been pre-graded. They should all get Gem Mint. They're all Wolverine, but they're not high priority. Get to it the next year or two.
Got it. So the Wolverine collection, Is it meant to be all graded, or will you do raws with that too?
No, meant to be all graded.
Meant to be all, and you want them all gem mint.
Yeah, but there'll be some issues that I'll never get gem in. And like the ones that are perforated or just they came out of the box, like Freddy Cougar got a hold of the edges, like some of those, it'll be just get the highest grade of that card possible, whatever that is. Yeah. Okay. But other than that, yeah, 9.5s and 10s. Yeah.
Actually, this actually makes me think there's a question I've had, and I've even done a poll once on my Instagram story. So with BGS, a 9.5 is what they call gem mint.
Right.
And then the 10 is the pristine 10. And then if you hit all 4 subgrades at 10, you get the black label pristine 10.
Right.
In your opinion, what sounds cooler, gem mint or pristine?
I like the word pristine.
You do? Okay.
I do.
I don't know. I always think isn't gem mint sound better than pristine? But I guess it's
love them both. They're both amazing words to me. Like,
yeah.
And then I'm like, where? Pristine? Like, they both sound great to me, man. So
yeah. I think I saw you once. You do go to the card shows around the country, correct? Or do you just go to
sometimes?
one?
Yeah, no, I do sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, so because I think I saw you on Justin's video when he went to like the Dallas card show.
Yeah.
So you do go to sell there then?
That was my first one I've ever gone to sell any cards at. Was the Dallas card show last summer? Yeah.
Okay.
Is that something? I'm gonna go next.
Oh, you are going next. Okay.
Yeah.
So would you want to then transition this to be your full-time job? Is that the dream?
That would be awesome. That would be great. Yeah, for sure. But it was like, I've done this my entire life just for fun, never to make like money. It was never a business, but just the last few years, it really started to turn into both, not just collecting, but a business too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you're probably not alone in that ambition. I think a lot of people, if this could turn into full, I'd be down with that. Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I put up the Wolverine 1 of 1 before the market exploded a few years ago, 2014 Marvel Premiere Wolverine 1 of 1. And I put it up on eBay for 30 grand. And I was like, I don't want to sell this card. I love this card, but $30,000 for a Marvel trading card. I had never seen a Wolverine sell for more than that. I know probably a Spider-Man did, but I don't know if a Wolverine had before that point, because this was several years ago. I think 4 years ago. And then it sold, and it kind of blew my mind. I'm like, okay.
It sold for that 30 grand price.
30 grand. Yeah.
You put that up there with 30K, like thinking this is a God level offer. Like, I don't want to get rid of it, but like if this offer comes, what do they call it? Is it a Godfather? What do they call that offer? You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard different terminology for this. I've heard FU price.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard a lot of different terminologies for this. I don't know, man. Like, yeah.
Okay. So
you think it would sell.
Yeah. So you put it up there for that, God tier price, and someone's like, buy.
Dude, yeah.
That's incredible.
And then like I had a $2 raw Hulk clear acetate card. I can't remember the brand. I don't have the brand behind me. It was from the Battle set, 2013 Marvel Battles. It was a clear card. It was a Hulk, and it got the black label 10. And I really liked that. I didn't want to sell it, but that went for $7 grand.
Jeez.
I mean, raw $2 card, black label $7 grand. I mean, so those things kept happening, and I kept getting shocked and surprised, and it was mind boggling. And I used most of that money to pour back into the hobby, bought more cards, bought more collectibles. So
yeah. You're kind of like you're a farmer. You sell the proceeds, and then you buy more seeds, and then you plant again and keep it growing and growing. Now we're 30 something minutes in, and I haven't asked, with you sitting there, what are the 3 sets, or what do we got behind us as you just turn around? What do we?
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a lot of 95 metal. I don't know if you can see it because of the glare. 95 Marvel metal pristine 10s.
Okay.
One of those. There's 96 masterpieces, double impact Wolverine, gem mint. Spider-Man, 96 masterpieces, gem mint. The Psylocke, 96 masterpieces. There's your Surfer you mentioned, 96 masterpieces. Yeah. The 2 Wolverine and Weapon X inserts from 95 X-Men Ultra gem. And I'm trying to get all these sets in gem mint, but some of them are a lot harder than others, obviously,
Okay.
May take a while, but that's okay. So, yeah.
Is that your only, so in the house that's got cards everywhere, is that your only actually displayed cards, or do you have displays all over the place?
No, I mean, this room is the display room. And then upstairs, there's a little bit more display. They're in museum quality archival safe, I think they call it, boxes that hold the rows of graded cards. And I don't even know, the brand is MJ Roop is the brand. And those were like, I don't even remember, man, 50, 60 bucks a piece. I mean, they're good quality boxes up there. That's where I keep all of the personal collection. So,
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So those like don't let the light in, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and they don't change over time. They don't like mold. They don't warp. You know, they stay nice. And yeah, for sure.
It.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to go back. You were talking about how you like to open these boxes now on YouTube to kind of show people like, you know, how many cards, you know, you can get Gem Mint out of a box, et cetera, et cetera. What's kind of the numbers that you find? If I was to open up a box of, you know, we'll just say use 96 masterpieces.
Yeah.
You know, like what is there? How many cards do you think is in a box? I don't even remember.
There's 18 packs in the box. I don't remember the card count, but out of the 2 boxes that I opened, the first box gemmed, and this is all on YouTube, so please don't quote me to the exact number, but I think it gemmed around 50 Gem Mints, 40 to 50 Gem Mints. Yeah. In the second box, those cards are coming back. They haven't come back yet. They'll be back in the next month or less. And I sent those off with approximately the same numbers. Really, really close.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
When you send off, you have pre-graded them yourself.
Yep.
How spot on do you think you've gotten with your
85%?
85%. Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. And then would you be able to ever like look at and say like, this is going to be a black 10? Or is that just like kind of?
No, I mean, I never say that ever, and I never think it just because it's almost impossible. But I do say on a regular basis, I'm pre-grading a card thinking, oh, this is definitely, I mean, I have a section of pristine 10 cards that are raw that I think that will pristine 10. So, yeah.
Would there be one in a box, would you say, or is it even rarer than that?
It just depends on the year and brand of the box. Some boxes, it'll never happen ever, you know, and some boxes you're guaranteed to get one or more out of. It just depends on the year in the box.
Got it. Like
09 X-Men Archives and 09 Spider-Man Archives, you can definitely get at least one pristine out of those boxes.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like those. I have a 09 Archives. It's from the Spider-Man set because it's a Spider-Man with Silver Surfer card.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The Rittenhouse made a great product, and I hear rumors they're coming back. I don't know if it's true, but whatever. It'd be cool if they did. Yeah.
Rittenhouse, I like the 2014 Rittenhouse sets, I think are some of my favorites. They're super, super awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also wanted to go back. You said Wolverine's at the top of your 10 character list.
Yes.
Do you know the other 9 off the top of your head?
Yes. Well, I'm going to cheat and look around to make sure I don't miss any. I know this isn't Marvel, but Batman is up there.
Okay.
Spawn is up there. Venom and Magneto and Spider-Man and Ghost Rider, Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are, however many that is, those are the main focuses. Yeah. Deadpool. Yep. That's it.
Big hitters in there. You're not shying away from
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Wait, so I wanted to go. So JP asked these questions a lot when we talk about Batman.
Yeah.
There's just not nearly as many DC cards out there, is there?
No, there's a lot less. A lot less. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think honestly, your Instagram feed and your website is really the only place I ever see Batman cards, I would say. And then other people that like show off a Batman card, I feel like they got it from you. So like, I don't, Where are you finding, especially earlier you were talking about like all these kind of international cards and promo cards. And that's the other thing I find interesting about following you is that you'll have like an X-Men card from Japan. Where are you finding all these?
It's a mixture of eBay, and also there's a website called Abes or Abs Cards. I honestly don't remember. Abes or Abs Cards. And whoever that is did an amazing job at putting in the most random cards on the market, DC and Marvel. I mean, that's where I get a lot of my ideas from on where to search for the cards, is going to his site. And there's a few other random sites. Like if you were to Google Marvel cards, non-sports cards, and you just spend 5 minutes and you look at different sites, there's 2 or 3 that just people like us made, and you could tell they're homemade, but they've got great lists and they give you really good ideas. And you're like, I didn't know that in the early 90s, Aquafresh had a perforated 3-card set off the box of toothpaste with Venom and Spider-Man. What? And then it's like, okay, and like this, you can cut. This is a high C box, right? I got this idea from that guy's site. You can cut this and you have a trading card. It's an official trading card, right?
Oh, and you can grade that then.
You can grade. It gets like a grade of a 3 or 4, but it's still cool to have something unique and different, right?
Well, so I want to ask now, like, I've heard that Beckett will grade anything. I know PSA now grades Funko Pop, so in the box. So could you not just send in that whole high C box to get graded?
No, they don't have a case that'll hold something that thick. And if I were to flatten it, then I would have to ask them if they would add another version of this card, which is the card on the box, like however they want to label it, right? Because that would technically be another card. It wouldn't be the exact same card if you cut it out, right?
Okay.
So yeah, great question.
All right, so then you're finding all these boxes and all these things on eBay. Are you finding high C boxes on eBay as well?
That I did. Yeah, I did get those on eBay. Yes, I did. You know how you do your saved searches? Yeah. That's all. I get an email for all these. I have a lot of random keywords that come. So
okay.
Yeah.
And you found out about that high C box on this Abs website?
Yeah. That's exactly where I got the idea from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like I saw someone the other day. I started following on Instagram. He has got a bunch of original art, and he had a piece that it was an X-Men piece, and he had it framed. And what it was the original art of a Campbell soup can label that had the X-Men on it. So in the frame, he had the soup label and then the original art. It looked great. I was like, that is so cool. Like, what a unique
love stuff like that.
Yeah, what a unique piece.
You know how people have that, original art sometimes in their house, and art goes up in value, right? Like famous pieces of art. Like my dream is to have original pieces of art all over my house of Marvel cards. That would be,
yeah.
I don't have that, man. That would be so cool.
Do you have any original art at the moment?
Just the sketch cards, obviously. Hundreds of sketch cards. I don't know if you want to count that. It can.
Yeah.
I don't have anything in addition to that.
Yeah, I don't know anything of published, whether it be comic books or cards. But I agree, that would be like I actually just recently, just because a lot of the Marvel masterpieces of the current set are now or are about to go up or are available. I don't remember exactly, but out of my price range is all I know.
Yeah.
But it made me kind of think about like, it'd be cool to look up some of the original art from the cards that I collected as a kid, which would be those 90s sets. And I saw on Heritage, they had a bunch of those. So 1992 X-Men Series 1, the Jim Lee set.
Yeah.
And on Heritage, they sold a bunch of those in like 2014.
Wow.
And they were, always, so when I say it's not that bad, it's relatively speaking, right?
Right.
They were like, depending on the character, low end was like $1,500 up to, I think, like $4,000. And then there was a couple that were like, I think $7,000, which I was, granted that I think back, that's 2014 prices. Those would probably go for a lot more now.
Yeah.
But it was just, that was really cool to see. Like they even had like the X-Men Blue Team card, which is one of my favorite cards in that set. Like,
wow,
that would be awesome to own. Any published original art would be special to have for sure.
So special. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Are you pursuing that at the moment? Or are you still right now just you're into cards always down the line?
Yeah, that's down the line. If I come across, like a 96 Wolverine original, masterpieces painting, I'll do whatever I can to get it. And I might not get it because I'll be bidding probably against some people with a lot more money than me. So I'll give it my best shot if I come across it.
All right. So you said the words, I will do whatever it takes to get it. So now I have to ask the question.
Yeah.
You complete a full 1996 Marvel Masterpieces Gem Mint set.
Okay.
And the person that owns that painting says, Michael, I will trade you my one painting of Wolverine for that entire complete set. You'd make that trade?
I would.
All right.
And the only reason I would is not only because it's a 1-on-1 and special and all that, it's a painting, but man, I feel like I could build another Jim Mint set with enough time. You know,
yeah.
I feel like I could get that again, right? At some
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that
years,
painting you may never get. Yeah, you may never have another. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. Something you said earlier that I can really relate to. Remember when you were talking about how you didn't realize that Marvel cards really existed besides the ones that you collected as a kid?
Yeah.
I think there's so many. I remember experiencing that when I got back into it after college, looking at a whole host of other type of Marvel and DC cards that I never even knew existed. I think that there's so many people out there that don't know that Marvel cards exist, or they only have what we used to think. There was only a few sets that we collected in the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
So
I try and talk about this a lot, right? Because so the comic book community, we'll just say is, X big.
Yeah.
I would say the card community is a small percentage size of that.
I agree with you.
Right?
Yeah.
And I do fully believe the reason why it's hasn't grown bigger or, relative to the comics is because, again, like we just said, so many of us that are because I feel like there's so many of us that are me, JP, a bunch of the guests we have, like, we did this as a kid in the 90s, and now we've got families now, we've got jobs, have some disposable income, and we're getting back into collecting. And we see the comic books because the market's so much bigger, so we see those out there. Like I said, if it wasn't for me finding a few guys, like I met Manu through comic books. He then introduced me to Justin, right? And then Justin was a big card guy, and then that led me to Fausto. It's like, it wasn't until I followed those guys who were like, wait, these cards are made 5 years ago. These cards are made 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I realized this. And as a comic book collector, it's a great compliment. Like, again, I get it. If you want to do just cards or you just want to do comics, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it has been super fun to do both hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I fully believe that, like, a lot of comic guys would fall in that same boat. They just don't know that these cards are they're still thing.
Man, I agree 100%. And then and a lot of collectors that realize this, you get really intrigued because they've obviously brought out new types of cards that didn't even exist in the 90s, right? Like the 1/1s and autographs and all sorts of, like, Hugh Jackman didn't exist in the 90s, right? As a Wolverine, right? So stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I shared this story before. We interviewed Justin on this channel, and he was going through all the cards, just kind of showing us a lot of his collection. And in it, he pulls out a 1992 X-Men Series 1, the Jim Lee set.
Yeah.
The Wolverine card with the pack pulled autograph. And I was like, did you get that signed at a convention? And he's like, no, this came in the pack. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I opened so many packs of that set as a kid.
Yeah.
And even though it actually says on the box, there is an autograph cards potentially in here.
Yeah.
I never actually read that as a child. And so I had no idea that set has autographed from there. And I was like, I couldn't believe I never came across it. Or if I did, I probably just thought it was a regular card. JP, what's up?
What's going on? You guys hear me all right?
Yeah. Did you find a hotel room that works?
Yeah, I had to find a Quality Inn.
All right. Hey, it's in the name at least. You got quality. Oh, and then he froze.
With good timing, their internet doesn't work. No.
Can you see me now or no?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
I just made a dumb joke that quality's in the name at least for your hotel room.
I guess that was terrible. I had blood stains on the sheets and stuff of that nature. So.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. I had planned. I brought my stuff. I brought my camera. I bought my, headphones, everything to log in tonight because I knew I was going to be away and thought I could jump on. But
hey, you're here now. Again, this is Michael. We're talking about, he's a big 90s card collector, Wolverine collector, and several other characters. So we were just talking about some of the cool cards that we grew up with and things like that.
Awesome.
Hey, Pete, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. I'm glad you can make it on. Sorry again.
No, we've been having fun. Rohan and I have been really, really having a lot of fun. So man, the 92 Uncanny X-Men set. Yeah. Man, what's so crazy about that to me is of how many times I've heard people say something like this. Oh, I think there's this character autograph, but it's never been seen before. Or I saw it once 30 years ago. And then no one's really ever seen that character autograph. So it just makes it more mysterious. How many autographs really exist
out there? Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah. Do you, and actually, since you're a Wolverine collector, do you have that Jim Lee auto card?
A good friend of mine in Australia, I sold him the Wolverine in gem mint condition. And I ask him regularly, what can I do to get it back? So,
so you had it and then you sold it.
Yeah.
I saw recently on eBay, there was one that was graded a CGC 6.5.
Yeah.
And it sold for, I think, $900.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love, just because that set meant, Silver Surfer's not in that set, obviously, but just because that set was so like vivid in my memory, I would love at one point in some time to have any one of those pack pulled outs, whether it be Rogue, Magneto, Wolverine, whoever. Like I would be all about it just to have one of those.
Well, I know. So the 92 boxes, if you get one, obviously it's a lottery ticket. You might get the autograph, you probably won't, but whatever. But man, if you get that, those don't brick. And even in this market, you can get those. And I would say 99% of the time, if you buy the box for whatever they're going for, 150, maybe 150 bucks. Yeah. You can get double. I'm just going to say the money back to be safe here. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can, I've never bought one of those boxes and not sent off some cards to both Beckett or PSA and made the money back that the box cost. So if you do that and you just want to buy one a month or one every few months and just do that route, what if you pack pulled an auto, man? It's possible.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
And to be perfectly honest, like just the idea, and obviously I think we may have lost JP again, but it would just be fun to just open that box again.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, that would just be so fun to go through that. Yeah. And
the holograms.
Yeah, the holograms, anything would be just so fun to do. And that's what's funny is like, as I've gotten back into cards, it's purely been for Silver Surfer. So I've not actually bought a box of any kind, whether it be new or old, and open it.
All right.
So yeah, that would definitely be a fun thing to do. At $150, that's not bad at all.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to look on eBay for those.
Yeah, man. And especially if you want to turn some and sell them, get a few graded and make your money back. It's like, you wouldn't have any money invested and you may pull the auto. You might.
Yeah, I would tell you what, if I was opening those live on YouTube and I pulled the auto, I would go buck wild.
I don't blame you. I've probably pulled one or two autos in my life, but I've probably bought 200 to 300 boxes in my life of those.
Of that set?
Of that particular set. Yeah.
What were was it the Wolverine auto? What was the other one?
Wolverine, I don't remember the other one. I don't even know if I pulled a second. I just want to say at least just the Wolverine, just one of them.
Okay, yeah. The other, if I had to pick, just sticking with the cards here, if I was to pick what would be my dream Silver Surfer card. In 1996, they had that 1996. This is also Jim Lee set, the Onslaught set.
Okay.
They have a pack pulled Stan Lee auto of that Jim Lee Surfer card.
Wow.
That would be probably my number. And I want to say, when you research it, there are about 100 of them out there.
Okay.
There was actually one that did sell on eBay in June, and it went for $2,400. Like, so that's out of my range. So I don't know if realistically how it ever would happen, but like that would be my number one dream card, I would say.
Dude, I cannot remember what that card looks like. Do you have an image you can send me later?
Yeah, I'll send you. I'll actually pull up the eBay sale of it and send that to you.
Nice. And I'm not hunting that card, so don't worry, we won't compete for it.
Yeah. So JP, I was just telling him, do you remember in 1996 there was that Flair Ultra set that they called Onslaught, and Jim Lee did a bunch of the art for it? Do you remember that at all? Okay, so in there were
no, not at all.
There are three cards that they chose that they autographed. Jim Lee signed the Mr. Fantastic card. Stan Lee signed the Silver Surfer card, and I'm blanking. I think it may have been Rob Liefeld that signed the third card. And there were about 100 of each. And I was saying the Silver Surfer Stan Lee auto would probably be like my number one dream card when it comes to my Surfer collection. Like that would be awesome.
And you said it's $2,400.
The last time it sold in June was for $2,400. Yeah. So like It's probably
Is
not
that
going to
graded?
happen. No, that's just raw. Just raw.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice card. I'd love to see
But
it.
let me ask you the question though: that you would spend twice that for an X-Men 1.
Yeah, I mean, I again, it takes me a while. It takes a while to save up to these, but like, yeah, my ceiling of what I'm okay spending is higher for a comic than it is for a card. Yes, that is how I see it.
Because there's 100 of those cards.
Yes.
And that's raw, just like the X-Men, right? Are you going to buy a graded X-Men? You're going to buy a graded one,
yeah,
right?
I unless I find like some steal of a deal. So what he's talking about, Michael, my big chase book at the moment is a copy of X-Men 1. So
which X-Men one?
Like the original X-Men one from 1960.
Yeah,
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Cool.
No, the 1963, and it'll be a low grade version, but it's still going to be 4 or 5. You know, it's not going to be cheap. So.
Dude, that's an epic book, obviously. Wow.
But that's what I'm saying is that card is pretty rare for half the cost. So you have a low pop card versus the X-Men 1, which you can probably get any day, but I don't know if you can get it any day. I'm not going to say that, but that card's probably rarer.
In terms of readily available, you could theoretically, if you had the money, you could buy an X-Men 1 every day. I think there's 5,000 X-Men 1s on the CG Centers, up and down the grade list. Wow. However, for me, right, that's going to be a big move. I only have so many big moves. To me, I value the X-Men, even though there's way more of them, because I like the historical aspects that comics have. Like, my first love of all of this collecting is first appearances and these major first appearances and kind of owning that piece of history, right? So the X-Men 1, X-Men's my favorite team. To have the original X-Men, that would mean, as cool as the Surfer card is, and I would love to have it, I would take it any day if it was possible, I would much rather own the X-Men 1 because that would be more special to what I like. Everyone's different, though.
That makes sense. I'm just curious. I'm not. I just like to point those things out because I didn't realize some of those cards that were pretty rare and they're pretty costly. I'm sure you guys talked about them enough throughout the last hour, so I don't want to rehash anything, but that's part of the thing is that the cards come out each year and there's a new one that's the metal card, the low pop card that you're trying to find, and that's harder for me to get into that as a card collector, but I love the 90s cards, and getting one from like 96 signed by Stan Lee when there's only 100, he's not signing another card.
No doubt. And that's why we were talking about like the 92 set with the Jim Lee ones. Like it would be pretty cool. They've done a couple things with Stan Lee involving him signing some cards. Like there was the 1991, which is the Series 2 cards. They did some event, and if you went to this event, you got like a tin of cards, and in there it had the Spider-Man hologram, and Stan Lee signed the back of it. And so that's kind of like the same kind of thing. So like there are a few, but like, yeah, they're very, very rare. And it would be a treat to have any of those in the collection. Yeah. Michael, what would be?
I'm sure you talk what's behind Michael there on the wall there. I'm sure you guys are.
Yeah. Go through it again, Mike.
Yeah. So got over here. There's a the auto 91 Jim Lee auto X-Men card. The Japanese Prism Wolverine. Oh, you can't see that. Oh. Sorry, Japanese Prism.
Do those displays keep going?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's pretty sweet. Nice.
So JP, I was saying this earlier. And I'll put the link when we post this video. I'll send the link in there. There's a video where Justin, when he met Michael for the first time, because they realized that they live near each other in Louisiana just by coincidence.
Crazy.
So Justin rolls over to this house. Is like, hey, is it cool if I film? He films. He goes through Michael's house and he has cards everywhere. In his like utensil drawer, there's not utensils, there's cards. When you go into his coat closet, there's not coats, there's cards. There's cards everywhere. Yeah. It's crazy.
You by yourself?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That makes sense.
That does make sense, right? Yeah.
I say I find stuff in my drawers, but they're usually forks or food my kids throw in there. So I'd rather find cards.
Yeah. Love it.
So do you guys hang out then? Because how close you guys live? Or are you within minutes of each other? Or?
We're an hour and a half away. and we don't hang out. We always talk about wanting to hang out, and it's one of those things we just haven't made it happen yet. We talk all the time, regularly. So yeah.
Yeah, hour and a half, still kind of far away to, not that far, but
it's still an event that you have to like kind of plan out for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got a great family and stays busy with his main job and all that. So busy guy. But man, next year I want to go to like the best event of the year for Marvel trading cards, and hopefully meet anybody that I'm talking to in social media. Like, I'd love to hang out with you guys. I don't know which, are y'all going to any shows? Like, I'll probably go to the Dallas Card Show.
I would. So actually, this is actually something I want to talk about. We were kind of alluding to this earlier. So first off, what would be that big? What is the biggest? Do you know like what it would be the biggest Marvel card show?
I asked Justin this question because I didn't know, and he said it depends on the time of year and what's going on. But he said the National or the Dallas Card Show, and he mentioned one other, but I don't remember the name of it. So, and Dallas is 2.5 hours for me. So that's, I mean, I got to lug heavy boxes, and I'm not going to mail these cards. So I have to physically drive to the show, right? Because I plan to have a bunch of tables with all these graded cards, and they're heavy to lug around. So
you're going to set up at the show?
Yeah, I did that for the first time last year and had a blast.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
so
cool.
What I was going to say, or what I was alluding to earlier, is like, so one of the things that as I've been getting into the card side that I would love to, try and help push forward. So one thing I love about the comic side and being in the comic book community, especially like on Instagram, is I no longer have to buy comic books on eBay. Not that there's anything wrong with eBay.
Yeah.
Right. But it is just to me, it is a much nicer experience to buy on Instagram because I can make relations. Like, if you're selling on Instagram, like I know you, we talk.
Yep.
It's just I would much rather pay you than pay eBay fees and all this, it's just so much nicer to just be like, hey, a guy I buy from all the time. I've talked about the show that Mark from Collectibles. Like, it's great. I hit him up even when I'm not buying a comic. I talk to him about comic books. And so it's just like, I would much rather purchase a comic book from him directly than have to go to eBay. Or, you've talked about, you have a website. Like, as that website grows, I would 10 times over rather buy from your website than go on eBay. So what I'm getting at is I would love to see like someone like you be like, hey, I'm going to just rent a booth at a Comic-Con and get exposure there. Because like I said, so many of these comic guys, they don't know about the cards. They don't even know that they're still made. And
I would do that.
JP and I go to cons that are in our area. We haven't gone. We've talked about going to like the Connecticut show next year, which would be cool. It's one of the bigger comic shows.
Yeah.
But so at the moment, we kind of stay local. There are no cards. If anyone has cards, it's like, oh, they have a little shoebox of some ratty cards that they found. They sell for like 30 cents.
I'll do that.
Yeah. No one has cards like you at a comic book show. And it's like, I feel like that's a big disconnect. Because like you go to a card show, obviously it's all card related, but I imagine it's primarily sports cards.
It is.
Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And Josh from Marvel Madness says, he's like, at the end of the day, we're all fans of this art. It just depends on the medium that it's on, whether it be on a comic book, on a card. It's still a lot of the same art.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't know why we don't have these melded together at conventions.
Yeah, I don't either. But is the biggest comic book show San Diego Comic-Con?
Yeah. So I should say San Diego Comic-Con and like Comic-Cons like, so San Diego, New York, these are more, they definitely started as comic, but they're now more just, they're bigger pop culture side.
Pop culture, sure.
Right. Again, I've never been to it, but the Connecticut one from people I talk to is one of the better ones for just like pure comic books. That's kind of like one of the best in terms of the biggest, but that I haven't done. But in general, like even San Diego Comic-Con has a huge pavilion of comic books as well. But like the ones I go to here in the Seattle area, like you can't find cards. They're just non-existent there.
The shows I've been to have all been pop culture shows. So I've seen a lot of toys, but I haven't, like I saw Garbage Pail Kids at a show in Ohio. I didn't see a lot of Marvel cards, but I wasn't looking for them. So, I guess it comes down to maybe that there's straight comic book shows and then there's the pop culture shows that may have a little bit of both. But if you're the only guy there or there's only two people there with cards, you'll probably do pretty well if you're looking to sell because you only show in town, right?
Yeah.
My hesitation in the past was, how do I get these cases and cases and cases of cards to a show? I'm not going to mail them. I can't fly with them. And so I don't know if I want to drive across country, but now I really love what you guys are saying. I want to sign up for San Diego Comic-Con. And I was talking about this earlier. I just hired somebody for the company, Cool Cards, and she's full-time. And I told her we'd be doing some out-of-state events. She could drive the cards across country and I could fly there.
Yeah. So I that's a great question. Like I knew a lot of people we talked to that do go to cons do the driving thing and kind of stick regionally, right? However, there are absolutely people that like go to San Diego Comic-Con every year, and we could definitely ask those questions and find out that process, and in the meantime, I think you doing the, regionally driving around like Dallas Expo, I think it's called, is a big comic book show. So there's a big Marvel there's a big Marvel presence there.
Yeah.
And you can drive, so I think a lot of people, exactly, because that's the thing, you can't really fly all this stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, if you've got tens of thousands of dollars of inventory, you don't really want to say bye to it on a plane. You kind of want to make sure that you know where it's at.
Yes.
So like we interviewed this guy named Drew. He has his Como Comic Books. He goes to, he's in the Missouri area, and he goes to shows that he just drives to all in that area, Kansas, Missouri, all those Midwest states.
What is it? How close is that to Missouri? How close are you to Missouri?
I'm basically right by Dallas, Texas. So
is that a drive? Like, is that 10-hour drive through you? Like,
with Dallas, Texas, 2.5 hours for me.
Yeah. And Michael, on that note, I would say you don't even need to start, at San Diego Comic-Con, right?
Okay.
A lot of areas, and I'm sure Dallas would be one of these. They have just like a lot of just like local comic book small shows. And you would easily, like, renting a booth there would be super minimal cost, I'm sure. And like, that would be a great place to start, because those are the people that are just truly lovers of this hobby, and just to have that exposure would be awesome, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do a couple shows next year, so I'll figure it out. Thanks for the ideas and thoughts, for real. Yeah.
And the other thing too, I would say, is like, and I'm really happy to see, so there's all these like comic book consigners now that you can buy. So like, there's a lot of people that sell directly on Instagram, or, someone like me, if I don't have a presence to sell, but if I want to sell a book, I can put it on, I have a couple on Diamond Comic Club, or there's Elite. And then what I like now is Elite now has a just general collectible side to their page now. And there are cards on there now. So that's also something I want to see, is that way we can have this same experience I have of buying comic books on Instagram. We'd love to do that with cards. It'd be awesome. It just needs time to build that presence.
Yep. I would agree. Yeah.
Would you do it that way? Would you sell on Instagram through like a consignment yourself, like Elite, and have your, Cool Card Life selling straight cards, only Marvel cards?
I've never done consignments.
I honestly think, Michael, you have a big enough name in the card world that you could probably just do it directly on your own feed.
Yeah,
right, but you could sell other people's cards if you want, but you have plenty there if you're looking.
Oh yeah, like you be an Elite, I think is what JB's saying. Like you be the consignment card site.
Yeah. Oh yes, I would love to be the consignment card site for Marvel cards. I'm just not prepped for that right now.
Yeah,
absolutely, that would be really cool to do. So
that might be easier than trying to get around all these shows carrying everything. I'm sure in Dallas you got plenty of population there.
That's an easy one for me to get to. Yeah, anything in Dallas is super easy. I love the thought though of going to a San Diego Comic-Con and having like 4 or 5 booths of something people have never seen before, like $500,000 worth of trading cards, anywhere from $20 a card to your $20,000 cards. Like, I think that would be so cool for everybody that goes to those Comic-Con shows at San Diego to see that. I love that thought process.
Yeah.
Love it,
and also kind of on the consignment page real quick, I would say, just so you're aware, like with the comic book consignment page, and now I've only used Diamond Comic Club. The 3 big ones are Diamond, Elite, and Grails.
Okay.
And I don't know if they all do it the same, but with Diamond, the person that runs Diamond, he doesn't actually ever get the comic books. You send him pictures of your comic book. He posts it on his page with your price that you guys talk about. And then when it sells, the owner of the book, ships it to whoever bought it. And then he takes a brokerage fee, essentially.
Got it.
So that would be how you would be able to do it. It's like, if I have this awesome Silver Surfer card, Stanley pack pulled auto, and I'm like, hey, Mike, I want to sell this now. I need some money. I would send you a picture of that card. You'd post it on your site for, $3,000, let's just say, and then said buyer buys. And, you have your 2% fee of that cost that I pay to you, and I get the rest of that money. Like it's a pretty easy I mean, I say easy, but like it's not as complicated, I would say, as you think.
No, thanks for explaining that. I get that completely. I get asked to consign cards monthly, I guess. People message me, either from the website or from Instagram or eBay. So yeah, that's something that I would like to do one day for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to get a lot more subscribers before we get a free pass to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of work ahead of us. And I have a buddy that lives in San Diego, and Rohan, you have a friend as well. So I could have a free place to stay if I could just get a ticket.
Yeah.
Nice.
But more for the experience. And I heard, I don't know if you guys watch Bronze and Modern Gods or listen to them on YouTube. They're mostly cards or comics, I mean. And they said it's like Vegas, going to San Diego Comic-Con. You should do it once, at least one time for the experience. So, if you're going to get out there next year, I might try myself. And Rohan, you're closer.
Yeah, I would. The hard part is since we can't get free passes because we're not big enough. Just to get a ticket is hard.
Yeah.
That being said, Michael, if you do it, you can then hook us up with vendor passes. We're like, oh, we're helping Michael sell. So
I was looking for a pen.
We'll work your booth for you.
I was going to write that down, but I can't find a pen. I'm going to remember that.
Because that's what people told me. It's like,
we'll work the booth though, right?
Yeah, no, I would have, dude. That would be fun totally be fun. Like to spend some time wandering and then spend some time like at someone's table, like helping.
Y'all could sit with me as much as you wanted to at hanging out. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what someone told me. They're like, the best way to get to Comic-Con at San Diego, because the ticket's so hard to get, is to find someone that's vending and like help them out and get a vendor pass. I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I love that. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, we'd work it if you needed it. Just if you, obviously, you got to do what you got to do, but we'd be available to come out there.
Yeah,
I think that'd be neat though if you can get out there.
Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, I need to look into this and see what it takes, how much the cost, and reserve my tables and actually sign up, because I feel really good about doing a big Comic-Con. San Diego's the biggest one. And like y'all are saying, I'll be the only person there with graded Marvel cards, people that never seen it before. I mean,
talk to, you're good friends with Marvel Madness, Josh.
Yeah.
He just went. So like, he will know like, hey, what was there a card presence? Was there,
and I will talk to him about it.
Yeah. Definitely talk to him, get the ins and outs of it. Yeah.
There's 3 others to consider. New York Comic-Con is huge. Baltimore is not as big as San Diego, but still well worth your time from what I understand. And then the one Rohan mentioned in Connecticut.
Okay, cool.
Well, and I would also say the Chicago one, C2E2.
Is there one that stands out above the rest in terms of traffic and size?
I think the Connecticut one is the most fun from what I've heard from everybody who's gone. The majority of people I've listened to.
Which one?
So the Connecticut one we talk about as being the best one because that's
WonderCon.
No. It's called Terrificon.
Yeah, Terrificon.
Terrificon. I think WonderCon's in California.
Yeah, it is.
We say that in the sense of because it's the one that's the most purely comic book based.
Okay.
In terms of size and foot traffic.
Okay.
San Diego Comic-Con, hands down, is because that's because of the pop culture that goes with it, right? You have Marvel unveiling their movies, all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is with your entrance fee for San Diego and New York, it's a lot of money.
Yes.
To get in. I don't know the numbers. Again, we're talking out of our left side here, but
yeah.
From what I would say is probably that Terrificon would be the less costly out of all of them that you would probably get. It has good traffic to possibly get, make your nut for that show.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would agree with based on the knowledge that we have just from talking people that have gone around to these conventions. I think JP's right there on that point in terms of cost to value kind of ratio. Your best buck would probably be that Terrificon.
That's the hardest part is that all that the cost you have before you even enter.
Yeah.
Dude, I get it. I at the Dallas card show last summer, I bought more than I made. So I have to be use a little more self-control because everybody's bringing me cards. Like everybody kept coming to my booth, like bringing these epic cards. Like, you interested? And I couldn't say no to some of them,
And was that the reason? Because they have the vendors, you guys can all talk before the show even opens.
Yeah.
Oh no, are you talking about people just walking up with those cards that you're buying from?
Both vendors and other people. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you got early entrance, you can go around and check everybody's booth, and make deals before they even open the doors up for anybody.
Yeah. I would tell you what, like, I feel like that's probably why I will probably never make it as like a dealer, is because like there'd be too much stuff like, oh, this X-Men 1 came in. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. You know what I mean? Like,
I know that was the challenge. I think the profits for me were 7,000 or 8,000, and then somebody brought the Battle Spectra gym, Venom Carnage gym in condition, and I paid him more than that. You know, so, like whatever. You know, so it's fun. So. Really fun.
Well, the good thing in that sense is it's not your full-time job. You got your real estate going at the moment. So,
for now. Yeah. But that would be fun though. Like you were saying earlier, if this was full-time, that would be the dream. No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With doing it full-time, would you want to just do it primarily over the internet, or would you want an actual store?
I have a store. I just got a store, a brick and mortar.
Oh, you do?
I just got one. I mean, it was just, it's inside of my real estate office. It's an actual office with the window, with a separate address, cool cards that the employee is going to go work there full-time, 40 hours a week.
Yeah, girl, you just got on.
Yeah,
just brought on. Yeah,
just brought on. Yeah, not got on, JP, but brought on. Yeah, no, just messing with you. Yeah.
Wait, so I could go to Michael Salter Realty. I'm like, oh, I want to buy this house. Oh, and this Wolverine card that happens to be here.
You can.
Look at that experience.
Yep. And
you're already spending $300,000 on this house. What's another $5,000 for this Wolverine card? Yeah, put it into the financing. Yeah, throw it into the financing. We're good to go.
I love it. Yeah. And my friends say that now I can get really good deals on boxes as a dealer because I have a brick and mortar.
Okay.
I heard you have to have a brick and mortar to get dealer prices on boxes. So that'd be cool to get some cheap boxes and sell on Instagram for like good prices, like not eBay prices, but cheaper, Yeah.
So I don't know how it works on the card side, but I always hear, because nowadays when we have so many avenues with claim sales on Instagram, on YouTube, on whatnot, there's various places you can sell without having a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
When it comes to comic books, the one thing I hear about why people would benefit from the brick and mortar is because when you have a door, people walk in with because comic book vendors, their inventory is from people that sell their collections. And he's like, and I've been told when you have a physical store, the amount of collections you have access to from people just walking into your door regularly is considerably higher than you being someone that just is online, having to go search Craigslist, search OfferUp, search whatever, and finding collections. And I've heard people say, like, if you have a good brick and mortar store for comic books, like you can see upwards of 3 collections a week potentially.
Dude, that's cool. I like that. Yeah.
So
I like that.
I don't know, do you get cards that way? Do you buy people's collections and then turn them? Did you do that at all for your?
No, I don't think I've really bought any big collections unless I'm forgetting something. No.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe sets,
Yeah.
Mainly boxes. That's the main thing. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. That'd be interesting. Yeah. That's all. I want to hear more about this as this store develops, how that all goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it online, IG? Is your store online? Like if I find you on IG, can I see your store?
No.
And buy not yet.
So his IG has cards that he both owns and sells, but then his website is coolcards.net.
But it's not on Instagram yet, then, is what you're saying.
No, I don't have the store on Instagram. I've got the link tree that goes to the Facebook account and then my actual website. But the majority of my cards, 2,700 cards, are currently on eBay. But like we were talking about earlier, Rohan, where I'm trying to get off eBay and just get strictly on my website or Instagram. I haven't even looked into having an Instagram store. Maybe I need to do that.
I just mean like not as much the store, but just like pictures of the store and pictures of the cards you have. Like, is that part of your whole Instagram?
No, man, the store that I have, the shelves are built, the chair is there, but my desk isn't there. And she can't start full time until the desk gets delivered in the next week.
Oh.
Yeah, I literally have, I'll show you guys all my cards in these, you see the black cases?
Oh.
Yeah. Well, bomb-proof cases.
Yeah, 4 cases in boxes full of graded cards. And she's gonna help me transfer all that to the actual office. So literally I'm in the middle of this as we speak. It should all be complete in about a week or so. So
can I ask real quick? So you hired this woman.
Yep.
what were the qualifications you were looking for? I'm kind of curious. Like, did she have to be a Marvel card enthusiast?
36, 24, 36.
I asked her a lot of questions about what motivates her, what drives her, what's her personal life like, what did she do at her last job, what is she good at, and I tried to really
or ask Grandpa.
You got your little one there?
Oh yeah, no, she's at. We're good. You're good.
Awesome. So I prepped her mentally. I said, look, you're not going to be talking to people if you want. I have little ones too, man.
Are you? How many kids you have?
I have 4 girls. My youngest is 10.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
You got kids, JP?
I got 4.
Oh,
so
nice.
I got 2 boys, 2 girls, 14 to 18 or 12 to 18. Yeah, 12 to 18.
Nice, man.
So,
nice.
Yeah. But they're not here, so I'm good.
Yeah. They're not at the Quality Inn, huh?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He left them at the Bloodstain Hotel.
Oh, no, don't say that. Oh no.
That happened on vacation once. I tell you, that was a real mess. It's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she I just wanted to prep her and was like, look, you're gonna be grading cards all day, packaging cards, working on eBay, organizing cards, scanning cards, looking at cards, posting on Instagram. You're not gonna really be talking to people besides me to train you a couple hours a day. She was so excited about that. She's like, I don't want to talk to people. This is great. But she's a good people person. I liked her energy. I liked her smile. Super bright, smart girl, motivated. She wants to be with me for a long time. There's longevity. I looked at her job or her history. She was at different jobs for a long time. You know, at the resume, she wasn't at a job for like a month or 2 or a year. It was like 5 years or 3 years or whatever. I just interviewed her a couple times and it just felt right. And she answered every question the right way that I would want it answered. And I interviewed probably 10 different people and 4 or 5 people were late. And I even gave them second chances and they were still late. I'm like, y'all are looking for a job and you're late on the job interview?
Oh God, what is going on? That just makes no sense. Wait, so did she have Marvel experience of any kind or she?
0, none.
All right.
Yep. So it's like a 90-day probationary period. And I just have a good feeling she pays attention to detail. I'm going to teach her everything. And I told her whenever I pick a particular brand of card, we're going to go through that brand and she has to get 30 cards in a row correct of the grade that I agree with for me to say, okay, I trust you to grade this set of cards, but that's only for that set. I'm not going to train her. I'm going to train her per set because different card stock, right? Different rules, different surfaces, different things to look for. So I'm excited to have her, man. I think she'll work out.
That's awesome. I like the idea of the performance review of you just like looking at her card evaluating it.
Yeah, man. I'm going to be judging her a lot, but she seems to be ready for it. So
right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Quite a step. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really look forward to seeing how it grows and where it goes. That's
Thank
really
you.
Cool.
It's going to be a blessing to have somebody help me with all this. Like somebody that can organize your cards and scan them for you and grade them. I mean, that is just like, I'm so happy about that.
Yeah,
it's going to be nice.
For sure. Right on. Well, Michael, we're coming up on the 90-minute mark, so I think we should wrap it up here. Thanks for coming on. This has been a ton of fun. Let's definitely keep in touch, talk about the Dallas or the cons and all that good stuff. And we want to hear the stories of the store, and we'll have to have you on back again. Like, this was awesome.
Awesome. Anytime, man. I love being on y'all show. I'll come back anytime you want me. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely do this again when I can be there for the full time. So I apologize for that.
These things happen.
I'm going to
a better place.
Yeah.
I brought everything to get on here, so I'm mad. But so
JP, you want to take us out?
I'll take us out. We appreciate the time, and we'll see everybody on the next show. Peace out, everybody.
All right. Peace out.